start with an update on Jared Broussard?
Just maintenance. Expect he'll play tomorrow.
Did you see a complete balanced game the other night, or the last couple of games here from everybody involved?
I'd say the last three. Vegas, some timely incidents that happened that ended up in our net, but easily could have had something there. But the last two games, especially, I think a little more belief for sure, but timely goals, effort level clearly is there. Last game, end of the trip, teams tend to kind of not be as sharp coming home, but as you can see, the excitement level, the guys winning, they're giving it all they got.
Using the term belief, was it becoming an issue at some point? Naturally, we lose a bunch of games.
No, I think it's belief in winning every day. You can win. It's belief that you can beat anyone. Belief that staying with it all the time. It gets easy to second guess yourself when things aren't going good. To beat a team like LA, in the kind of game it was, where it was tight. We need games like that.
The message going into the next stretch of games that if you can do it on the road, in a road trip against a good team, you can pretty much win the game.
Anybody can beat anybody in this league. That's not the issue. It's you have to do it more and more often. You got to find ways to win. 6 out of 10, and those are the teams that continue to play on and that are good teams, 6 or 10 or better. So it's not winning once; it's doing it and doing it again, and just continuously doing the same blueprint and grinding away. It doesn't have to be pretty, but the chances against have to continue to come down.
There were so many close games earlier in the season. Was there a different feeling, or was this just a matter of it paying off, because of that belief, because of that grind?
Different feeling. I think we learned a lot of lessons, and early on, we threw the puck away, shot ourselves in the foot. I can't say that the other team did it to us. There's a complete different mentality for the importance of points and how to close games out, and which guys are going to do it and which guys aren't going to be out there at the end. There's definitely a different mindset.
And helping that mindset, can you pinpoint any players on this team who have really been stepping up and leading?
Well, I think some of the players that maybe didn't have the mindset at the start are guys that realize now, once those points are gone, you're back in that same spot. You have to learn from the mistake. And I think Drew clearly is a guy that's, been around, that's communicated that to the guys. And you'll watch him in the end of a game, with 6 minutes to go, puck's on the wall. He's doing whatever he can just to get it out. He's not looking to make a high-end play at that point. He knows, if you're tied and, you're down to 3 or 4 minutes, getting to overtime is not a bad thing. You get your point, now you get a chance for 2. You get an opportunity to make a play and win the game, absolutely. But you don't play high-risk hockey to cough that point up.
You guys seem to have pretty good energy despite the travel this morning.
Yeah, I think that's, there's so much made of the travel, and it's time zone and 5 hours. We're flying on a private jet, and, I think we'll be all right.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just, it's a mindset. Typically today you're tired, you get a full night's sleep, and there's no excuses in this league. No one's feeling sorry for you. So you got to be ready when that puck drops. I think we learned that a couple years ago in the Canadian division. I wasn't sure, but I feel like we had a back-to-back one night where we were in Montreal, next night we're in Calgary, and we went out and we won the game and played well. It's a mindset. Just have yourself ready when the puck drops.
What changed with Chabot back? Just is it slotting better with everybody on defense too? Like obviously he himself is a player, but slotting guys in maybe a better position behind him.
Yeah, there's that for sure. Guys come down and he's your best defenseman. He plays in all situations. His breakouts, his ability to keep pucks alive in the offensive zone, his gap, his ability to jump up in the rush, power play. There's just so many things that he brings that when he's not there is not the same, clearly. But it does allow Sanderson to play a little less and everyone to play a little bit less. But at the end of the day, we just have the puck more.
You go back to him in the next game. Is that a conscious effort to get him going, or just for the game?
No, the mindset is that, you know, he's been solid. He's done it before. He wanted it. He wanted the net. And, you know, he wasn't happy that he got pulled in San Jose. You know, he wanted a battle with the boys and he wanted the net. And for me, he's lived up to everything. You know, the boys are playing hard for him and he's playing hard for them.
You've got 5 power play goals in your last 3 games. I'm wondering, do you feel like this is the most confident your group has looked? And if so, you know, then why is that?
And yeah, it is for sure. They're moving it around. They know where they got to go. And give credit to me, Claude Giroux, who is the one guy that, you know, isn't on that unit that could easily complain. And, you know, when it's not going good, constantly looking to jump in there. He is not that at all. And he's 100% supportive of the 5 that are out there. And now those guys are starting to feel comfortable with each other. I mean, it was a big hole with Norris out. You don't have that one time that the rest of the league is constantly, you know, overplaying and open up all the bottom plays. But a different element with Timmy, not so much the one-timer, is, you know, he's real quick passing the puck. He jams it to the bottom, and they moved it really well. So certainly they do look comfortable. Yeah, he's so good on that right side. Clearly on the penalty kill as well. But yeah, for us to have the puck, I mean, that's a huge difference. If they clear it and you get a failed clear, there's a minute gone. You know, I mean, a failed entry and there's a minute gone. By him winning the draw, we've got possession right away and 5 pretty good players out there. So it's a big, for us, it's a big thing on our special teams is having that ability to win those faceoffs.
All those things you mentioned about you, are those all things that you were expecting, or has he surprised you in some ways in leadership or on ice play?
You never know what you're going to get. You know, you hear from people one thing, you hear another thing, and you never know until the guy's in your room what it's going to be like. And for me, he's been an absolute great veteran to have for these kids. He never shows negative emotion. You know, he's learned his body language, all the things that you want young kids to learn. When things aren't going right, he never tips his hat that it might not be going right. He says the right things. He's really, really competitive. But all this is only possible if you're willing to do all the things right, work hard, stop on pucks. And he's 100% bought into that and doing that. Therefore, his word means so much more to those guys.
What was that pass like from Stützle from your vantage point?
Well, nerve-wracking that we put G out there because obviously the puck's dropped closest to the righty, and his opportunity to win it. And then we have it and almost give it away was, you know, kind of shocking. But you know, G read it that he took off, and then Timmy's skill set just takes over. He's got the ability to make all kinds of plays, but again, you know, you see in overtime, they had a breakaway in the 3rd period. They're not easy to score on either. And with bad ice, he finds a way to put it in. It's just the timeliness of these things for this group. And if you could see the group, and I'm sure, you know, some people did maybe online or whatever, the excitement of winning that game at the end of the road trip against a good team. Like there's a good feel there. They know how hard they worked to get it. And it would have been hard to walk out of there with only 1 point.
I think it's hard to sometimes remember a specific player sequence, but with about 5 minutes left in that game, the Brinkat came tearing back into his own zone to break up basically what would have been maybe a grade A opportunity. What does that say to the group when a guy like the Brinkat comes all the way back, he's a winger, and he breaks up that play? And I guess does that show the buy-in here?
Well, for sure. And I think with him, he probably was in my most tracked clips. I like to put on tracking clips of guys working and things like that they can just watch while they sit around the lounge or whatever. He was in my most tracking clips last game. And I don't think you could say that at the start of the year, but, you know, when we communicated him, that's something that's going to help our defense is how hard you guys can track, how hard you guys can come back and help them. It's going to help us break out as a whole. And he's bought in 100%. And that there, I mean, Brady Gibson, the player of the game, because of that play. We're not playing on if it isn't for that second effort. It's so easy maybe just to see someone else is going to get him. You know, the kid cares. You know, he's working extremely hard at his game away from scoring. If you watch him, his forecheck, his stealing pucks back. And now pucks are going to start to go in for him a little more here. They're going on the power play. They're going to start to go in more and more. To me, he's really come on.
You had mentioned, you were talking earlier about, travel, whatever, everybody has to deal with it. You got a pretty hectic kind of weird schedule coming up. Is that part of, no excuses here for your team? Like you gotta deal with the schedule.
Everyone deals with it. Whether you have days off or not days off, you may have injuries. You may have guys that are sick. You're just going to have to dial the practices down a little bit. If it's not morning skates, at the end of the day, your brain's going to tell you what you got to do out there. And if you don't have it that day, play smarter. And, every team in the league, if you look, for most teams, you're playing every other day. So, you're going to probably need a few more guys. Injuries may happen, but there's no excuses. You're playing every other day. Be ready when the game starts.
Not wanting to criticize this game, but considering that he was among the leaders, Brady Kachuk right now doesn't hit as much as fans. I'm just trying to see if there's something we should read out of this, or is he having an impact physically, but on another level?
Well, he's leading their team in scoring. He's having his best offensive year. He's got the puck more. He's got the puck a lot more. He's holding on to pucks. He's also, I think what we need to understand is that when the puck gets dumped in and Brady Kachuk is on you going to get it, not a whole lot of guys are going back for it. A lot of guys are letting him get there or getting out of the way. And the hits you'll see Brady have is when he's tracking back, when he's forecheck reloading and he gets the guy on the wall. But off the forecheck, there's not a whole lot of guys that want to get hit by him. And we've talked about, lengthening his career, is that if they don't want to go back and get it, you got to take the puck and use your stick to get the puck and then go on offense. So, if it requires early in the game, a guy goes back and Brady's going to smack him, he's going to smack him, but I want Brady to have the puck. And I think, a constant conversation with him is very few people want to go back and get it when he's chasing him. So take the puck.